you warming up the tires and going around the track. It's always a good idea because you don't want to be in the middle of the race and then still checking your settings and getting distracted, because you'll definitely lose a lot of time.
So welcome everybody. As you can see, we've been having a little bit of technical difficulties this evening. Just trying to get the streams up. We had to restart it. I think 3 times we had to start it. So just to clarify some things is that Daniel, unfortunately you did not get first dibs. That was Christo who was on the original one, but we didn't get our sync up from our broadcasting software to the YouTube channel, but we are here. And as you can hear, we do have Ashley in the commentary box with me. We were able to sort out our wonderful glitch that we had picked up. For some reason the sound wasn't coming through, so I wasn't able to hear anything that was being said on the Discord. At least now that has been sorted out.
Really, we've seen one disconnect. Looks like Papa Whiskey. Unfortunately, he's dropped out of the session.
So we are down to 9 drivers. We started off with 11. So Andrew, Giannaman, Malja, Marshall, Marius, Colin.
Red Rabbits, Johan. So it looks like Papa Whiskey was taken out there.
And we've lost Brandon DeSantos.
Oh dear. So Johan trying to warm up the tyres. A very different method to everyone else.
Yeah, so this Oschersleben, as I mentioned before, is one of my favorite tracks. I really do enjoy it. And the corners are all in German, so if we do butcher these names, apologies. Brandon, we know that you have been disconnected, but man oh man, what I'm going to say to you is go do some laps in the GT3 and come and join the guys in the Alpha tier. At least we will get you racing this evening. So Andrew Horn, he'll now give the guys the starting orders, and there we go. They have now given the start, and it looks like Andrew was able to get the jump on Yanaman. Heading towards turn number 1, you're going to see how tricky this corner is. 90 degrees, and then into this very long 270 degree right-hander, which then puts us back onto the straight. We then are now heading into a left-hander, which is known as Hasroda. My goodness, if my friend Christopher Tinnefeld could hear me, he would say I'm absolutely butchering his name. Then one of the trickiest sections is the triple, and that's exactly it. Is a triple left-hander, just about flat out. But what I like to do is just gear the car down into the first phase, let it turn in, you're rolling it down into that second phase, back down onto gears into third, and then hard on the brakes for the little right-hander, then through the McDonald's chicane, and we're seeing Amarius down in 9th position. You'll see him coming through the chicane. You can see how that suspension hard at work and trying to get the cars through there. Janneman starting to close down on Andrew. And great line there for Janneman, taking a lot of that inside curve with him as he went through the shell curve. That is Amon, and now that is the Zeppelin, the final corner. And this is where Andrew will be able to get his power on and start opening that gap. You can see it was 0.8 of a second. It's now extended to 1.1. So Peter Brandt going in nice and early. I wonder if he picked up a little bit of a bump somewhere, or this is just part of his strategy.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any damage in the car, Dylan, so I think it's definitely a strategy move. Yeah, you just want to get out the traffic, maybe avoid any incidents and get out there with his pits done for the evening.
So I see
So
that.
as we know, there's
Yeah, carry on. Go for it.
So as we know, I mean, these tracks are not, although we know there is a bit of understeer, we haven't seen many tyre changes through these pit stop strategies. So that's why I think he's just going in, getting out the way, and then basically carry on for the rest of the race without any traffic.
Yo, look at that, side by side by France and Maljacques, and I know that the two of them. Apologies, that was Maljacques and Marshall. For a second there I thought it was Flat Rabbit, but he's actually the driver behind. But side by side, and now Marshall's going to have a look to the inside into Schnell corner, but decides that to rather not put the pressure. And they're in 5th place. That is France with Colin, and you can see how close those two are. 0.2 of a second between them.
So I do like the track angles, or the camera angles for this particular track. Get really close action on the cars.
Oh, look at that. So the guys jockeying for positions, trying to get the maximum out of the slipstream, but 150 meters is your braking point. And you can see how is that for car control by those 5 drivers. None of them touching each other, which is really good to see, and that's what we want. This is my favorite camera angle in all the cameras across all the different tracks. And I see Morris he's decided now is the time for him to go into the pits. So Morris down into 8th place, but this is where the action is currently happening. That was Marshall, Jacques. Then we've got France, Colin, and then Johan at the back of this battle of 5. So on board with Johan as he tries to go around the outside of Colin, but Colin would have had a tighter, quicker line, so Johan would have had to just slot in behind him. You can see Colin just touching the brakes. Oh, little tag on the back there from Johan, but Colin had just lost that rear, and unfortunately Johan had nowhere to go, hence the little touch there. So,
absolutely, he just got it out of shape there, just hit the curve as he went through that little twisty section. But that has now allowed Johan to move up to 6th position. I think he's going to be chasing down this guy's Flat Rabbit. If you look at his time on the previous lap, he was 2/10 quicker than the guys in front of him. So you'll be just watching. I mean, still half an hour left to go. You'll be just waiting patiently to 6th position, and he's going to be chasing down, finding his rhythm, getting back into the rhythm again, get back into the groove again, and then let's see what he can do the next couple of laps. So.
Yeah, 100%. So guys, we do have a bit of a smaller field this evening. We do have some guys that are currently away, and then in the Alpha tier, we've had a few guys that have had to unfortunately pull out of the league, but then we've lost 3 drivers to the race at Pekisa. So we will be getting some of the guys from the Bravo tier joining in that Alpha tier just to fill up that grid, and just to obviously keep the racing action as exciting for the viewers out there. So to everyone who has joined us, welcome, welcome, welcome. We do have our old faithfuls up on our YouTube channel, and that is Daniel Christo and Brandon DeSantos, all dropping us messages. So guys, if you do want to send out your shout out to the drivers, please feel free to do so. And looking at our Facebook page, Brandon's joined us there, as well as Stephen. How's it? Sorry, that is Stefan saying that his game did the same glitch. Man, oh man, Stefan will have to see whether Ashley isn't able to help you there. And then Sonia Malan, she's saying good luck everyone. Sonia, welcome, and we hope you enjoy the show.
We're driving on board here with, well, the camera, should I say, is on the Horn Dog at the moment. He's opened up a 3-second gap on Janneman, so he seems to be in a good leading, commanding lead at the moment. So 2nd place, Janneman, last lap, 1:37 dead, and it seems like he's just settled in now, perhaps waiting for the Horn Dog to make any mistakes and take advantage of that. But at the moment, the Horn Dog seems to be in control of this race without much pressure on him, so highly doubt that will happen to him. In third position we have Marshall. Marshall also going well there, consistent, and behind him is Flat Rabbit, who's just lost touch with Marshall up in front. Then, we've just, as we see that Johan goes slightly wide, goes off the track.
But he just manages to hold that composure. Yeah, man. That was pretty close.
Yeah.
I just love that shot and of looking into the chicane. You can just see how the cars, the suspensions work there and how they bounce off. Really, really awesome to see. I just love seeing the physics at work in the game.
Absolutely, especially this track. I've noticed the camera angles are a lot more defined, or get a much closer action, that's for sure.
Little kick of the rear there for Colin.
That's right, Colin getting a little bit sideways there, but manages to hold on to controlling the car very nicely.
Just see how the camera just shakes as the driver comes off the curb there. And now we have Andrew Horn coming through Haserode. If there are any German counterparts out there, please let me know. Am I saying that correctly? And then, apologies, Nikki Pearson, I didn't see yours. I scrolled a little bit higher up onto the feed, and we do see that you have joined us this evening, so welcome to you as well. Message here from Stephen is that he stuffed up his foot, so he's not able to drive this evening, and he's saying he's actually kicking himself. But Stephen, please do not do that. You're already 1 foot down. Rather just rest it easy, dude, and we'll hopefully see you next week. So 30 minutes left. We do have two drivers that have pitted already, and those drivers are Peter Brunt and Marius. And Peter Brunt is down in 7th place, and he's doing very similar times to Marshall in 3rd place, so that's what we're going to be looking out for. As soon as the rest of the field start going into the pits, is where does that leave the likes of Marius and Peter Brunt, knowing that every single driver does need to go into the pits and do at least one mandatory pit stop. They don't need to do anything to the car, even if it's just the 6-second splash and dash. They're more than welcome to do that. As we watch Johan and VDB trying to close up on France, but not close enough to have a dive on the inside. You can see France really protecting that inside line and taking a lot of the inside curve. And now that exposes the inside to Johan. And France just cutting across the front of Johan's nose there. But very well done there by Johan. Saw that he was coming and then just allowed France to go past without any incident.
Good driving from both these guys, giving each other enough room. And Flat Rabbit now under so much pressure now from Johan. As I mentioned earlier, Johan was quick on the previous laps, 2 seconds actually on the previous lap, so he's almost, in fact, on a similar pace to our leader, the Horn Dog. So he just needs to try and get past now France, and he can start his eyes, or set his eyes on the next guy, which is Marshall. But,
so I just wanted to mention
it easy
between those two guys, when they were going through the chicane there, and you could just see how both the drivers knew exactly where they were. Johan was on the inside, France was a little bit wider, but they basically both held their line and just gave each other enough space. You can see some flashing there happening between Johan and France, and I'm sure Johan just saying, I'm coming, here I am. But now look what's happening is that here comes Colin, so he's now starting to close up. You can see Colin going just about a second and a half quicker than the two in front. So he's going to be joining this party very soon.
And as I mentioned in the beginning, this track is very hard on the tyres, so you probably find that Johan's been nursing those tyres, and while France was actually battling with Marshall, it was actually Jock. I think Jock is, because I see Jock has dropped down to 9th position.
Could he have possibly gone into the pits?
To the pits.
So that was a corner that I was talking about, where you can see they're both really giving each other enough space. But I do believe that it is Johan who is pushing a lot harder here than France, and I think it will just be a matter of time where Johan will be able to find that gap. He's trying to put his nose in twice now, just showing his intent, wanting to put France under some pressure, and just wait for that opportunity, and I'm sure we'll see Johan go through.
It's one thing to catch somebody, another thing to pass it, and I think France is showing that. And Johan battling to get past him, trying to find a good exit and a good line. But at the same time, he doesn't want to drive into France and ruin his race. So very tricky at this stage.
Well, interesting. It was France who was actually the fastest out of those three drivers. And you can see, look, Johan is probing that inside through the hotel corner, and it just looks like he has a much quicker line because he's going a bit wider, carrying some more speed through the corner, and then is able to tighten up before the straight, where Johan is staying very tight throughout the entirety of that corner. But now this could be an option to go on the inside, but it'll be very close, and they go side by side, and I expected that. There you can see Johan is just slowing down. He's going to allow France to go through, but what's going to happen is that's going to release Colin. No!
Yeah, that was unlucky, and I think maybe Johan was just a little bit too what can I say? A little bit too cautious there, and trying to. And while Flat Red was going through the section there, they unfortunately touched, and that's completely ruined Johan's race now.
Well, honestly, I don't think that it's ruined, because Johan will be able to come back because he has been quicker. I think probably what had happened is he was just trying to let France go through, and possibly France just underestimated how much slower he was going, and that's when he just touched the back. But I'm sure that Johan will get his head down, 3.5 seconds to catch him, and I don't think that will be a problem for Johan, because he has been doing a really good lap time set. So back to our race leader, and we've got Andrew Horn 136.4s with Marshall in third place. Also, he's doing those 136s as well, so really good pace there. And almost said Greg, but I caught myself. Janneman in second place, very comfortable there. He's 6 seconds behind Andrew Horn, and he does have 5 seconds on Marshall, who's got third place.
Marshall's actually had a really good race so far. Not letting these leaders ahead of him run away with the race. On that particular lap, he was half a second quicker than Janneman. And it could possibly see a good battle at the end of the race. But with 21 minutes left, we're only basically halfway, Dylan. So it's still anyone's race at the moment. Anything could happen.
So this is the gap that I wanted to see between, you can see Johan was the 3.6 seconds behind, so you can see he has closed it up a bit, 3.4, nearly 3.5 now, but when they cross the line we'll see the difference in the lap times. So Johan made up that 0.1.
Well, not much in it, but he was still recovering from that spin from earlier, would have had a bit of dirt on the tyres and possibly overheated them from spinning away. So you just have to get the car a little bit more stable and back into a rhythm again.
So I did just want to make an announcement, is that I did see a post up on our Facebook page that Gerard, who was a substitute driver for us last week, we have asked him whether he could, but he is away, and he essentially is celebrating the gender reveal of his wife confirming that they're pregnant, expecting a boy. So congratulations to Gerard and the Vosloo family.
Congratulations, that's fantastic news. There seems to be a baby boom going on at the moment. I think it's something to do with lockdown, but we won't go into those details.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to ask Gerard if he wasn't playing enough sim racing. So Marshall now starting to close up on the back of Janneman. You can see that time now is down to nearly 3 seconds. He had about 5 seconds on him, so 2 seconds the difference there. So Marshall now starting to close up, so going to be very interesting, and I think I said so 5 times in those 2 sentences. I'll definitely try and fix that for next time.
So the field is pretty much spread out. No real action's going on at the moment. Whoa, and as I say that, Johan gives us a bit of a show, going a bit sideways. He's still pushing as hard as he can to catch France, who's about 3 seconds ahead of him at the moment.
And still 18 minutes left, so there's still lots and lots of time for him to close up that gap.
I haven't seen anyone go into the pits yet, so I'm sure we'll start seeing some. Oh, and there goes France. He gets it a bit loose and gets on the grass, and that puts him into the wall, unfortunately. And that's allowed for Johan to go past. And he's picked up some severe front damage there. So I wonder if he'll go into the pits now, maybe just to try and repair some of that damage.
He's going to have to, without a doubt he'll have to. And there we go, we see him peeling off. So that is the pit entry, and the pit entry on this track is one of the most tedious pit entries because you're going extremely wide. You're going around the entirety of the runoff area into the last corner, and then it kind of snakes all the way back, and man oh man, not what you want to be doing.
No, definitely not. And actually, now that you say that, I don't think I've practiced going into the pits. Some fun and games tonight, discovering that for the first time and trying to do it under race pressure.
So Nicky Pearson just dropped us a message saying apparently Janneman is not well, so it seems like he's a little bit under the weather, and he's fighting in second place, so kudos to him. Still holding out for second place, and we'll see what those times are when he crosses the line between himself and Marshall. So just looking at Peter Brunt, I'm starting to think that Peter Brunt is going to be moving himself further and further up the field here, because he's been consistently hitting those low 137s, and I'm almost suspecting that that's going to put him ahead of Marshall once Marshall does his pit stops here.
No, he went to the pits on the second lap, so he's already got the pit stop out the way and has had a clear track just to put in those good lap times. And although there's a 45-second gap between him and the Horn Dog, as we know, there's a tricky entrance to the pit lane, so that time will come right down, and you could have a good fighting chance towards the end of this race.
So 0.2 of a second was his the difference between his previous lap. So his lap 14 and his lap 15, 0.2 of a second, and that is just how consistent he is.
Absolutely, that's what you need to be around here. Not necessarily the fastest always wins, but definitely the most consistent. Sometimes, so we'll just see how that works for him towards the end of the race.
And we've seen it time and time
again.
again.
There goes Marshall getting a bit sideways.
The fastest doesn't always win. So the front guy is starting to close up on some back markers. I know that just ahead there was a yellow car, and that is not Yanaman. The race leader Andrew Horn 7 seconds ahead of Yanaman. You should be able to just see him in the background there. There he comes. So fighting in a second position. And one of the drivers we are missing here this evening is Terry Wolford. Wish him well for his racing that he will be doing in Bekisa this coming weekend. And a very, very interesting added decal added to his car, which I'm sure he will share with us once I get there on Saturday for a special reporter's entry into the raceway. I'll be watching that racing.
Fantastic. Looking forward to see that.
Throwing that car through that corner. Thank you, Johan. That was
that's not the first time Dylan there.
He is pushing and throwing everything, literally, that he can at this race now.
Yeah, so on that last lap he was half a second quicker than Colin up ahead. So we know he's got the pace. But if he carries on throwing it through the corners like that, he's tight.
Whoa, that was Colin. So Colin has lost it.
Yeah.
So that promotes Johan to 4th place, and Colin now down into 5th.
It was exact same corner, exact same corner as France.
It's that little runoff, because what happens
it doesn't look like he's picked up much damage, so
I think it might have been just a little spin. Because what happens is that when you go through that little chicane and you get your turn in, you're just a little bit too late. What happens is that you're turning in, the car starts understeering, it hits that curb, and then all of a sudden the rear just lets go. So Warwick, he's joined us. How's it? He's saying, hey guys. We then also have Yanni Boyson saying, bad luck France. Yeah man, France very unlucky. They're coming off the curb there and putting it smack bang into the wall. And you can see that Marshall very patient before he gets that power on. You can see definitely using that outside curb. Very, very dangerous. So we're approaching 12 minutes left, and we still have some drivers that still need to pit.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really seen the top 3 pit yet as well. Sorry, right down to 5th. We know that Peter Brandt went in quite early during the... So but as I say, that Yellowman,
yeah,
just the pits.
So let's just see how close... because now the man we're watching is Peter Brandt. He's the one that pitted very early, and you can see that lap time he did 1:36.4. So I definitely think that he still has a great opportunity to go and put it on the podium here this evening.
What if the Honda is planning to pit soon, as we see Johan going to the pits as well? And Colin has decided to go over an extra lap. Now Yellowman exits the pits. Let's see. Here comes Peter Brandt down the main straight.
And it's going to be so close. So here he's going to exit, and there we'll see Peter Brandt just turning into the hotel corner. So there we can see the difference in times there. So 3 seconds is the difference. And remember that Janneman had 3 seconds over Marshall. So when Marshall pits, he might be pitting and on the exit right next to Peter Brunt. So it is going to be an absolute cracker end of this race.
Exactly what we want to see. And then the Horn Dog just coming to the pits. We saw his last lap was a 136 flat, so he's been pushing. And I was just wondering when he was going to hit the pits. And Marshall decides to pit at the same time. So now we can see Colin, who's now in third. He still needs to pit, but right behind him is Janneman. So let's see if where Janneman comes out.
And this is the driver that I want to see, because now Marshall is on the move. So he's going to be stopping to do whatever it is. You can see locking up those brakes, so no tires. That is, looks like it's a 5.6. That is a splash and dash. And here comes Peter Brunt crossing the line. You can see that. Yeah, so on the left hand side, there's Marshall now exiting the pits. There's Janneman, and there goes Peter Brunt. And yeah, look at that. That's freaking amazing.
Wow. So he managed to leapfrog him with a fantastic strategy there from Peter Brunt. He managed to stay consistent. Whoa, and he gets a bit sideways there. But Marshall will see that he's lost the place now to Peter, and he'll start pushing to get that position back. But out in front, we've still got Colin, who needs to pit, and well, this will be quite interesting, because if he stays out for another 2 or 3 laps, he's gonna definitely slow down Janneman, and that could allow for Peter Brunt to close that gap.
Yeah, 100%.
And you can see on that last lap, Janneman did a 1:59. Obviously, okay, that's where, because he exited the pits.
So I see that,
we see.
Yeah, I just wanted to just ask Connor, because I see that he's joined on the stream. He's having a chat to Warwick, but it's actually not Warwick. It's actually Josh. Connor, are you going to be racing this evening in the Alphas here, boy?
I'm sure we will see him. I did hear Craig confirming with him earlier. But we saw that Colin went into the pits now, so that worked out pretty well for Janneman. He wasn't hampered too much.
No, he was. Look here, 138.2 versus a 136.9. That is a second difference. There is 2 seconds difference between Janneman and Peter Brunt. 7.5 minutes to go. This race is still very on.
Oh yeah, 1 second difference between you when he came out. So he was fortunate enough that Colin did go into the pits when he did. Otherwise, he would have been a bit of trouble. At least there's a bit of a breathing gap at the moment. But Peter can see him, and he's going to start pushing now.
And then I see that we've got a little battle happening between Marius and Maljak down in 6th and 7th. And this is it right here, because not only is it Maljak, but it's Maljak, Colin, and Marius. So another 3-way horse happening here, and Marius 1 second penalty. I'm actually quite surprised that there is only that 1 second, because I really battled with the track limits when I was just stuffing around here in the GT4s earlier on.
Yeah, myself, especially first corner, and I think it's on the 3rd or 4th corner where you get it out of shape there and just hit that curb, and it sends the car a bit wide. But Colin, you're having a look here on Marius as he goes on the inside. Marius comes and closes the door. but Colin's still applying the pressure. And it's Shark now that's just ahead of this battle.
Ooh, little kick of the rear there for Marius, so that's going to have hampered that exit speed. So Colin's going to tuck in right behind him. He should be able to get the toe down into turn number 1. Is he going to be close enough for a look on the inside? No, no, that was so close. Just managed us to keep that front of the car off Marius. And we are talking about Marius Jacobs.
You can see the track conditions are becoming a little bit tricky. The sun's starting to go down, so at certain angles of the track you've got that sun right in your eyes, and at the same time these guys are trying to battle each other. So very tricky part of the race with 35 minutes left on the clock.
So
epic battle, yeah.
I've just looked at the times between Janneman and Peter Brunt, and it looks like Peter Brunt may have had an off, because you can see that gap now 8.5 seconds. It was down to 2, so I think Janneman can just breathe easily now and bring the car home for the next 3 laps or so and secure that podium.
So it's unfortunate. We were looking for a good battle there towards the end of this race, but unfortunately that's not to be. And I think the same could be said, yeah, for Colin and Marius. So it doesn't seem like it's that easy. Whoa, there we go. See Marius unfortunately getting a bit sideways and collecting the wall there.
I think he might have just kept it off the wall. Let's have a look. No, so there is a bit of a front bumper damage there, so he just managed to clip it. But a great effort there for Marius, mixing it up with himself, Colin and Marshall. Jacques, apologies, Marshall.
We've got 3.5 minutes left on the clock, and still out in front the Horn Dog with a commanding lead of 8.5 seconds. So in a league of his own at the moment, with not having much problems in this race. Just a nice easy drive. He's just keeping it a good clean line, not making too many mistakes, finding a good rhythm there.
So Ashley, I know that while we've been commentating, our Discord has been having a few messages go on, but do yourself a favor, when you get a chance, just go have a look at our Thursday night thread. There's a present there from my cousin. Thank you so much, Memo. Really appreciate it. So 2.5 minutes left, guys, and you can see the sun now starting to go down. And Janneman securely in his second place now, just needs to bring it home. But you can see Janneman still pushing 136.9, so he's done an absolute crack of a job there. We did think that Peter Brunt would be able to challenge him for that second spot on the podium. Really worked his pits extremely well, managed to get himself ahead of Marshall, and we could kind of see it happening. It was all panning out to work that way, and just a little mistake, so we'll definitely just ask him about that to see what had happened while he was chasing him down. As Marshall just goes and puts his lights on, he feels that it's now getting a little bit too dark.
Yeah, like I said, this is a tricky part of the race with that sunset in the driver's eyes. But man, oh man, these cars look really beautiful. Not to be romantic or anything, but they look really cool at this time of the evening.
the shadow falls on them, right?
I think you can get some good screenshots here for the next promo, Dylan.
I'll definitely try that. So guys, the Alpha tier will be starting in the next 5 minutes or so. So once this race is done, we'll be doing the quick driver interviews and then heading to the Alpha tier. So Andrew Horn's unfortunately going to have to be the race director. He doesn't know it yet because Tyler and Roberts unfortunately do not have internet, so we have lost another driver there in the Alpha tier. So to any of the Bravo tier drivers, if you'd like to join in that race, please feel free. I'm sure the guys that are there will not mind you joining them, as long as you just pay attention and just race nice and cleanly. I think it will all work out well.
So we're on the final lap of this 40-minute race, and out in front with that almost 11-second gap, the Horn Dog on his final lap, and as he takes that fast chicane to the right hand and then onto the back straight, you can see that he's totally relaxed and in control, and puts another win under his belt tonight for sure. And I think he can be very proud of his performance, not only this whole season, not only tonight, but this whole season, should I say.
Yeah,
been really consistent.
He was 14 points ahead of Yanaman, who finished in second place, with him having 2 disconnects in a row, or retirements, apologies, for round 4 and round 5. Comes back with a win here, round number 6. So that will give him an additional 10 points over Yanaman, who will still retain that second place overall. So a great drive there for Yanaman.
A good result there by... And Peter Brandt coming over in 3rd position, so also a good drive from him. And I see Marshall has picked up a bit of a time penalty, but that won't hamper him as he come home in a good solid 4th position. A good race for him. Unfortunately, just leapfrogging the pits there by Peter Brandt. And in 5th, we're hoping to see Johan a little bit higher up in the order, but as he does his signature spin out and crash over the line. Meljock coming home there in 6th position, and in 7th we have Colin, who we saw had that unfortunate spin off early in the race. In 8th position we have Morris, and in 9th is France, Flat Rabbit.
So thank you very much, guys. That is the Bravo tier done and dusted. We will be moving on to the Alpha tier now. We can see that the invites have come through, and I'm sure while Ashley joins that lobby, he'll just ask any of the guys in the Alpha tier if they have any problems.
Can you come in for please? Thank you. Nice race.
Ashley, perhaps just ask them if any of them want to join in the Alpha tier.
Do you guys want to join in the Alpha tier?
Other than Andrew Horn, he's going to help me with the commentary. Oh wait, we need to go to the next stage, so someone needs to push continue. They're not going to hear you. There we go.
Do you guys want to join the next race? Please raise your hand.
I think I'm helping Dylan with the commentary.
Yeah, unfortunately, Andrew. Thank you very much.
Well then everybody, we'll catch you next week.
Yep, thank you.
Yeah, I know you guys would use the GT3.
Yeah, I set up for the GT3 on one of my other profiles, so if you give me a setup, then...
So, how's it, guys? We've just spoken to some of the guys from the Bravo tier, and don't mind. They will come and join for the race. Obviously, the points won't count, but at least we'll be able to get some more drivers in for your race if you don't mind.
Go for it.
And then Andrew Horn will be joining, and he will be the race director.
Okay, I'll invite him.
Thank you kindly.
Robert's internet's working again.
Okay, right.
Cheers, Dylan. See you on the track.
Ashley, thank you kindly for joining me there. Really great to have you as awesome as normal. Awesome. We'll see you on track.
I've sent Robert an invite because if his internet's working, he'll be wanting to race himself.
Andrew, how are you doing? Just wanting to
good, and you?
The other guys in an absolute crack of a race there for you. Well done.
It was a bit lonely, but good fun.
So guys, we're just waiting for Yanaman and Peter Brunt to join us in the Discord, but we do have Andrew Horn. Andrew, we normally have Tyler that joins us for the race director, so not only are we joining him in the commentary, but you'll get to play with some camera angles as well. And I hope we can just throw you into the deep end and let you figure that out.
Yeah, there's something new I've never done before, but I'll try not to mess it up too badly. You just got to tell me what to do.
It's all trial and error. Literally, it's push a button. We kind of know who we want to be speaking to.
Cool.
Yeah, so while we're waiting for... Where are they?
Okay, so I've got an invite for that lobby.
So, Andrew, let's just start off with who while we are waiting for the guys, because we are just about 5 minutes behind schedule. But we do see that we do have 10 drivers that are have joined. So we do have 1 or 2 other drivers from the Bravo tier that will be racing in the Alpha tier. A good race for you. It did get a little bit close in the end there. It looked like Yanaman was going to take that pole position.
Yeah. I must say I got caught up in some traffic at the beginning of quali. I knew I had the pace to beat him, but with the traffic and Oschersleben being what it is, which is really difficult, I'd wondered if I hadn't messed the setup up, and I managed to get it on my last lap of quali. And then I thought, well, it's going to be a tough race, and managed to gap it from the start, and that was that.
100%. And then leading from start to finish. You did miss 2 races due to retirements, but the races you have finished, all 4 of those have been a win.
Yeah, I think I put that down to luck more than skill, but I must say, this track, you've thrown a curveball at us. This was hard to get the car right for. This was a challenge, and just your quali setup to your race setup was night and day, completely different things. Really. Yeah, if you didn't apply your mind to this one, you weren't going to go anywhere quickly, that's for sure.
Because you got to get that balance between having a nice turn in, but you also got to have a car nice and settled, specifically through that triple, where you want to be carrying so much speed there, so you need more of that stiffer suspension that's going to help you carry it. Whereas you're going through the chicane sections, the suspension is working so hard, and that car just seems like it's bouncing all over the place.
Yeah, it's a bumpy track. There are a few places where the car can turn into a bucking Bronco, and you've got to get that right, because over 40 minutes, number one, it punishes the tires. Number two, that's not so easy to live with. Yeah. And as we know, with a long race like that, consistency is key.
100%. And man, oh man, all I can say is that we were watching Peter Brunt because he decided to pit quite early. It was lap 2 that he went in and pitted, and we were watching the time and just a split. And we just about got it on the money to say that he would possibly come out just ahead of Marshall. And as Marshall was coming around that last corner, there comes Peter Brunt and just managing to overtake him. So it was really, really incredible. And we did think that Peter would be able to overtake Janeman because he was right behind him. 2 seconds he was gaining that time every single lap, just making up of those few hundredths of a second. It looked like he had made a bit of a mistake and had dropped down, but an absolute great result there for Peter Brunt in the end.
Peter is such a fierce competitor, and he's actually so good at this platform. He really is. He's incredible. The pits here were quite costly in terms of time. And as I was saying, managing this car around a twisty track like that, I wonder if he wasn't struggling with the fuel load coming down and maybe a bit of understeer creeping in, something like that.
Yeah, that could possibly be. Because what we also saw is that some of the guys, specifically coming through the chicane, going through that little right-hander, and we saw a few guys just hitting that outside curb. And if you don't get your turn in at the right time and you turn in too soon, you generally start understeering.
Absolutely. The lighter the car gets, the more it understeers. The other place is the triple left section, another one where the understeer will punish you, and those curbs, if they don't spit you around, you're in for a lot of slowdown penalties.
Yeah, I can only imagine. So I'm just making sure that I see that the guys are putting their thumbs up, and it looks like we have 13 drivers there. We've just been given the green light there, so we will be able to just jump over to the loading screen there. Just get some sound back. So I must say the little sticker that Terry Wilford had put in his car has definitely created a bit of a stir. A lot of guys are now asking, what's happened, where are mine? So I definitely think for the road trip that we have coming up tomorrow, that we might need to just take some along.
Looking at the amount of requests for stickers, we better take our bags out the boot and just chuck in boxes of stickers.
Oh man,
that's cool. That's really, really cool.
So guys, as you can see, these are the GT3s. This is the Alpha tier. Just scanning through the list to see who's joining here this evening. So we've got Marshall, Johan, Maljak, and Brandon DeSantos, who have joined us from the Bravo tier. Just to come in for the grid, we do have a couple of drivers away. 3 of them in the Alpha tier are at Bekisa at this very moment, so not able to join us. So thank you to the guys that are literally taking up the challenge, being thrown into the deep end, and being asked to come and drive in a GT3 car. And I'm sure that the standard request in that lobby was, "Hey Brew, how's the setup?"
Well, yeah, if they haven't been practicing this is really being thrown in at the deep end and hot water at the same time, because these GT3 cars are an absolute handful. And if you haven't practiced around this track, my word, you're in for a wake up.
So it looks like you've just fallen into that director's role so easy, just going through the cameras, looking at the people. So very, very cool.
Yeah, I'm just sort of getting a feel for what does what here. So let's see how that goes.
So Warwick Hendy, sorry, not Warwick, you Josh, because we saw that comment coming up earlier. So yes, so if you want to know who Connor is, if you look at position number 12, ADR, so that is for actually AD Alexander, Connor using his dad's profile, and then Craig is number 7 CRA, that is Craig. So, and now you know who you're going to be cheering for.
There you go, I brought them both up there for you. I see Ross has got some kind of penalty. There's an exclamation mark next to his name, which I wonder if he was speeding in the pit lane or something.
So good thing you asked that. That means that there is a driver within a second of him. So that's what you're going to be looking for, which is going to give you all the closest racing action, and that's the little icon that gives you that information, so you know who's within a second, and that's how we're able to keep all the racing action nice and close.
That's awesome. See, I'm learning something every time. I've never even played with this screen on Project Cars, so nice to learn new skills.
Yep. And
Pete make a mistake.
I do say that to people once they come and join us at SARCO, and I do say that welcome to the rest of your new life.
It's so true. So true. See, Craig is having a couple of laps invalidated for track limits, and I think Ross as well. Yeah, it was hard enough in a GT4, so I can see the track limits playing a major role at this track for sure.
I must say that it's probably easier to drive on this car because you've got so much more downforce, so you really are able to bang that car in. Man, this corner here, you can just turn it in, just hang on, and you literally accelerate all the way out, and it is such a great feeling.
As opposed to the GT4, where you've got to play with it a little bit and see what works and what doesn't.
That's 100%. So looking at the qualifying time, so that's Connor currently 128.6, so he's 0.2 ahead of Jake's. Dirkie, we know that he was having issues. He thought it was his wheel, but it looks like he has been able to sort those out. Jake's in the signatory green number colors. Brandon DeSantos, he's currently in 4th place. You can see 3.2 seconds ahead and being thrown into the deep end. And Brandon currently going faster than Sly Pete, who is one of the Alpha tier drivers. Sly Pete, I'm sure he's probably just doing an outlap. No, that's not fast enough for an outlap.
Let's have a look, see. Sly Pete and Brandon, part of the Rough Riders crew, so I'm hoping Pete has shared a setup with Brandon. Although at about 7:30 this evening, Pete was still at work, so I don't know how much setup time Pete had is anyone's guess. But also a capable driver. When he gets it together, he's more than capable.
I suppose it's all about that feel, and once you start getting that feel and that confidence, that's where you're able to start pushing just that little bit more.
Hopefully Craig can get this lap in, because he's had a couple of them invalidated now for track limits. Hopefully he can get a clear lap before the session runs out.
So Ashley, he was in the commentary box with me earlier. That is Solash. He's currently in 3rd place, half a second off Connor's time, and I'm sure Craig's going to be wanting to out-qualify Connor, because I just know that even though they are teammates, there is a massive rivalry between those two. Obviously, Craig, you almost said the old dog, but that's not true. Craig is younger than I am.
Dylan, do we want to get into this one?
No, I don't. So moving along swiftly.
Just checking. Was that Craig in the background running wide there?
Okay, so we've also got, on the YouTube channel, we've got a Warwick Hendy with a blue icon, we know that that's Josh. And then we have Warwick Hendy with the purple icon, and he's saying that this is the real Warwick. So we've got 2 Warwicks, one of them is not, and 2 different colors. So we're going to have to just make sure keep my eye on that. Let's just jump in to see who's here on Facebook. Nassif Benjamin, yes, it is live on Facebook, on YouTube. Apologies, it is literally a SARCO Racing.co.za, or you can go and look for a SARCO Racing, and it will come up on the Facebook there. So definitely go have a look there if you want to join us on YouTube. So you'll just need to make sure that once that menu is up, you do want it off, just click it off. so that we are able to...
there we go.
There we go.
We are getting there. We are getting there.
So what I'm assuming is going to happen, because I see that we are now down to 11 drivers, so there's been 2 drivers that have possibly clashed with each other.
I see Brandon DeSantos is gone. He's just come back in now. He had a problem in the GT4 lobby where he disconnected there as well, and it's Gavin that went with him.
Oh my goodness. So we got poor Warwick is saying that the purple Warwick is the wheel Warwick. Now the brother is saying, get off the Wi-Fi, you're making it slow. Absolutely golden. So guys, why don't you go and watch it in the same room? It would just make more sense, right?
Yeah, I'm sure you could probably put it on your lounge TV or whatever you got there with YouTube. Plug your laptop in if you want to. Robert looks like he's had an off here.
Okay, so it looks like it was Gavin and Brandon that went off, because both of those drivers haven't been able to get in a lap time yet. And Mal Jacques, he's also found himself a curb.
Yeah, and something after the curb as well, by the look of it. Something pretty solid. Johan Wiedewies also catching a wake up with this one.
Yeah, but we did find him going through that corner. He was hitting those brakes really, really hard. And just the way he was throwing it in was absolutely crazy.
Was that in the GT4 race?
In the GT4, yeah. Johan was very aggressive into that, and I think that he just might not have got the feel of that corner just yet.
No, he was saying that he was struggling with this track quite a bit. And I think this is the kind of track, unless you're set up dead on, you're going to struggle. Oh, Jake's retiring to the pits there.
So Jake's not able to close that gap on the youngster Connor, who's out in front. Ashley in third place, and that camera angle is absolutely fantastic. That's Ashley. I don't think he will be improving on that lap time with him running wide. Then Craig in fourth place. And I'm sure Connor's going to remind him who started in pole position. Dirkie in fifth. We've got Robert in sixth. Ross in seventh. That is Pete in eighth. Malzjak in ninth. Johan Wiedewies in 10th. And the question here is, will Gavin and Brandon still be able to get into the lobby as Ross very sideways? I think he knows that we're watching him, and that was just for the cameras.
Could well be. That or he's realised he's not improving and sort of started messing around a bit. So Gavin is out on track. So is Brandon. There the two of them are.
Okay, so that is fantastic news. So they were able to get in.
Hopefully they can just get a lap in, and I don't know how much difference it's going to make. They can be the best of the Bravo tier guys.
Well, so far the best of the Bravo tier guys. Let's see. Yeah, that is actually Mal Jacques in 9th place. So quite interesting. That's kind of how it panned out, is that the Bravo tiers were under all the Alpha tiers. But that is why we do.
Look at that time from Gavin. Right up there.
So he just slotted himself into 4th place. The great comeback there for Gavin. And that was literally his one-lap flyer.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. You know, at least he's, with seconds to spare, he's got in there. And Brandon as well, quickest of the Bravo.
So now we're down to 10. What is going on here?
Gavin's gone again.
So Gavin disconnected and Marshall disconnected. So the question is will they just retire to pits and get those guys back in?
Yeah, good question. I'm just listening to Ash. He seems to be, sort of saying, guys, please take note of your positions, and they'll restart the lobby. So hopefully we'll get everybody in, because I think Gavin, after that lap, really deserves to be there.
Without a doubt. So I do see that Tyler has joined us in the Discord. So Tyler, what I'm able to do for you is just bring this up, so at least you're able to see what myself and Andrew are seeing, and you can come and join us here. There you go.
We can hear you. Because there were shortages of competitors.
Oh, that does always hurt my brain.
Why is it doing that?
Okay, it was all the guys just retiring to bits.
Okay. There you go. Not at this stage.
Yep, so we will now be taken back to the lobby, because it doesn't sound like anybody pulled off. We're just waiting for the host, which would be Ross, to just push continue, and then we'll get the qualifying taken off, and we'll be racing once again. There we go. So confirmation there that the lobby will be restarted.
Kevin. He's pulling everybody with him.
I think Gavin seems to be the one with the clashing issue. Seems to be taking other guys with him.
Are we gonna make a chat party so we can hear each other?
No, you don't need to.
No.
Okay, not.
So guys, just remember your code coconuts.
Connor, take off qualifying, please.
Am I really doing all of this?
Yes, you are. Connor, you're the youngest, and you respect your elders, please.
Connor, yeah, I did all of it.
I think that one fell on deaf ears.
No, it's all.
There we go.
I'm not entirely sure they're qualified.
We can.
Last time I looked, but I was kicked out, so I don't know if anybody got...
I don't think there's going to be any invites going out now.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Guys are going to have matching issues.
I think you were 8 hours.
Okay.
I'll start
And they have run quali, so they're just going to start into
Okay,
position.
everybody thumbs up, guys, let's get going.
Guys, we'll just make sure that everybody that was in is there, because there should have been 13 drivers now. I'm only seeing 11.
Yeah, Gav's
Gavin's not going to come back.
He's causing problems.
Is it coconuts?
We are code coconuts.
Okay.
I wonder what Jake's had on his mind.
Big.
So Jake's,
Connor, you need to get going.
we would love to know what you had in mind.
Yeah, do a PG version for us.
Yeah, so there we go, guys. So unfortunately, Gavin disconnecting, so looks like we will not have Gavin in this race. Apologies there, Gavin.
This first corner is, certainly not one you want to try and go 3 abreast through either, because I think you'll go 3 abreast and you might get a wheel coming out the other side if you're lucky.
But I must say is that with me doing those promotional videos, I spend a lot of time in my practicing driving around other cars. And if you just understand what the car's going to do through that section, is that you're able to understand where you can be and where you can't be. Because if you're getting yourself into a situation where you know the guy's going to possibly outbrake himself and you've put yourself in that firing line, the idea is to rather get on the tighter line, go as tight as you can on the inside, then let everybody go past you, and then go around the outside. So for me, it's all about just practicing, seeing where the best place to be, and then just holding that line through there and hope that you don't get taken out.
Absolutely. I think, it's where you get the guy that is going to try and go from last to first, and not necessarily use some common sense, and that's always not good to see. But yeah, it's I think the rolling start that we've implemented with the single file is definitely the right way to do it.
It just gets everybody up to speed, because the one thing, and I know that we have our proximity indicators on, we have spotters around us, but what generally happens is you go off the line, you think that you've got a great start, but meanwhile the guy behind you has hit it absolutely perfect. You're now pulling alongside the guy that you're now catching, and he's going around the outside. So now all of a sudden you fall wide. You know that there's one car there, but you don't know how close he is, and that's where those two cars will touch it. What happens is you're taking 3 cars off, plus possibly 2 that are following behind you. So I definitely felt that we've eliminated a lot more of the bigger damage. So yes, there's been a few little touches and nudges and that sort of thing, but not 5 cars, 6 cars being wrecked into turn 1.
Yeah, that's the last thing you want to see. I think we had quite a bit of it last championship with the Formula Renaults. There were guys, I think, that didn't know the capabilities of those cars and tried to push it a bit to the limits, and it's like 10-pin bowling into every corner.
We'd start with 16 drivers and end with between 12 or 8 drivers if we were lucky.
Yeah, well, there's some racing categories in this country that don't have that many cars in it, which is... but that's a subject for another day.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, we've got Connor into the lead. Everybody seems to be starting into their positions nice and easily.
So I must say, we had our RSO1 championship here last season. At the end of our, essentially the first year of SARCO, and myself, Ross and Dirkie, nose to tail, going through that triple, man oh man, in the RSO1, this track is absolutely phenomenal, because you can just imagine the amount of downforce that car generates, and what an absolute fantastic race there.
I think, yeah, I'd like to do some laps here with the car with some mega downforce and see what it is like. But I can imagine that RSO1 was quite a cool thing to drive. I mean, I did a couple of races with our Sunday endurance, and that was so much fun. So they're getting ready and bunching up.
I can't even send you a cheat sheet, Andrew. That's because all the corner names are in German. So we'll kind of just figure it out as we go.
Kann ich die Deutsch sprechen, though?
Nein.
It's such a direct language. Nine. That's it.
There we go. So you can see single file as a... Whoa!
Oh!
That was Craig. What?
It was Craig and
Dirkie. And it looked like Dirkie might have tried to just jump the start there.
Looks like Ash has got the jump on
Jake's, yeah. So
Jake's.
Ashley's now moved up to second place.
He has indeed. Jake's is not giving it up though.
No, you'll have a little dive to the inside, so you'll be too wide. Ashley on the outside, Jake's on the inside, and now going to the triple. I wonder if Ashley will heed the place, or they're going to go too wide through the triple. That is absolutely crazy. No touching there. But now Ashley will be on the inside, and that was inevitable. We did envision that touch happening. You cannot be going too wide through there, because that road just tightens and you're hitting a very tight right-hander. And that's now released Connor out in front. And Robert up into second place with Mal Jacques from our privateer. He's in third place with Brandon De Santos and Johan VDV, the 3 privateer drivers, now up in third, fourth and fifth place.
I'm sure none of them were expecting that at all. And Mal Jacques is hanging on to Robert as well, which is really impressive to see.
So what people don't understand is that Mal Jacques, in my eyes, is an alpha tier driver. He is at the caliber where he's able to race me, he's able to race Dirkie, he's able to race Jakes.
No, he really is, and he's when you practice with him and chat to him, he's very measured in everything he does as well, and I think that's what gives him the edge.
Yeah. Wow, look at those pits starting to come in now. Lots of guys going in. So we've got Ross, Jakes, Craig, and Dirkie. All four of those
Craig has
drivers.
missed his box. Craig's doing a 3-point turn for us.
So this has definitely changed the running of this race.
It really has. He seems to be reeling in Johan. And Jacques is definitely hanging on to Robert. That is interesting. I think those guys that had a bad first lap, they've definitely made the right choice by pitting. You lose a hell of a lot of time, 35, 36 seconds, hey Bill, in this pit lane?
Yeah, it's almost going to be closer to 40 seconds. Because even when we were doing those calculations, that you had 45 seconds over Peter Brunt, but there was 3 seconds between Marshall and Janneman, and they were about 6 seconds behind you, and we slotted Peter Brunt right in the middle there. So we're looking about 41 to 43 seconds. But that's on the GT4. Remember, this is GT3, so these cars are slightly quicker. So that approach into the pits is going to be faster, even though you're slowing down. Ross very sideways coming out of that exit there. You can see there.
Held on to it.
He just managed to hold on to it, but definitely got that rear very loose. And for some reason, it looks like that car is very twitchy on that power. I don't know if he's got his setup quite right there.
Possibly, he wasn't caught up in any incidents that we saw. So, yeah, I wonder if he's got his setup just right, or if there's a bit of damage somehow. I think we're going to jump to Ash because he seems to be reeling slight heat in.
So I just wanted to make sure that I didn't get the guys who had pitted down, because that definitely, it does change the whole dynamic of the race. We saw it in the Barbets here. We saw what a difference it does, and all of a sudden how the racing starts coming close together. So Ashley trying to close down Sly Pete's, and these guys fighting for 7th and 6th place respectively.
And Johan's just up the road from them, so this could turn into an epic 3-way battle.
We saw the blue car on the front there. That is Johan. That's
Johan having a moment.
Catching a little bit too much of the noise pedal and just stepping that rear out.
Well, that's given Pete the sniff. And Ashley's the third dog waiting to grab the bone and run away.
Oh, Ashley just very aggressively just throws that car in, and poor old Sly Pete just had to allow him to go through. But I think that he kind of realized that Ashley maybe was going a bit faster, so would rather just let him go. Oh, Johan just off the track there. You can just see how
flirting with the curbs.
Yeah, you can tell Johan's not looking comfortable. That car definitely twitching on the power. So Ashley now moves himself back up into 5th place, and the next one in line that he'll have to chase is Brandon Santos.
It looks like Brandon's picked up a penalty, and so is Jake's. I think you got to just remember that Brandon's on a controller, and I think does an absolutely phenomenal job for somebody on a controller, considering most of the field's on a wheel. He really does, and he loves it. Hey, he's so passionate about this as well, which is so nice to see.
Also, I have tried with the controller recently when I had fractured my wrist and I wasn't able to drive with the one hand. I hadn't quite mastered the skill. Man oh man, I was just trying to chase down Troy, who Troy hasn't raced with us for a couple of weeks now, and Troy was faster on a controller than I was, so big ups to them, and yeah, I do take my hat off to the guys that do drive the controller.
Absolutely. I just thought I'd bring up the timing so you can see Jakes has got a monster penalty. Wow.
And that's speeding into the pits, so Jakes is going to be very well aware of that, so he will have to make that time up as he circulates through these laps. And Brandon DeSantos a 1 second penalty there, so not too much to worry about there. And that's the kind of penalty that you say, I'd rather just take the penalty, I don't want to slow down, because what you find is that by slowing down you lose a lot more time on the track. But not only that, is it just throws you out of that rhythm.
Yeah, those slowdown penalties seem to be a little bit on the inconsistent side. You know, sometimes you give the slightest lift on the throttle and it disappears. Other times it's a 3 second lift before it goes away, and you think, well, all I did was touch the curb. Robert's doing a great job. He'll be well impressed with this. He was having internet issues before it started, and I think that he's also doing a great job.
He just managed to hang on to that. I thought if it had gone into the dirt, that was going to allow Marshark to close up. Nasty as Robert looks like. He definitely did get that.
He
sideways.
held it.
And the instinct is that what you want to do, as that car starts sliding, you want to hit the brakes. So by doing that, is that you're just over-exaggerating the rear stepping out. To just come off on the power, counter steer, then slowly add the power back on. You find yourself catching the slide a lot more than trying to catch it through, trying to hit the brakes, as Marshark got that very wrong through that triple section there.
Unfortunately, the cameras really don't do that section of track justice. That is so fast, and you have got so much load on the one side of that car. It is really difficult to get that right.
Yeah, what we might need to do is just jump onto a cockpit full of viewers just so we can see that when they're going to that section. So Ashley having a little look on the inside with Brandon. You see Brandon. That's going to rotate all the way around.
Ooh, and Ash is also he's on the limit of the slowdown there for sure. So I think that's where the controller you really notice the difference as well. You know, to correct something like Brandon had there is a little bit more difficult on the controller.
No, it did look like that Brandon had just turned in a little bit too quickly, and then what happens if you do that, you get these cars have just so much front turn in, and then because the engine is at the rear, is that if you haven't settled that rear, it just wants to snap around on you.
Yeah, it's a big pendulum effect. Oh, Jacques gone off.
Jacques watching his mirrors, and I'm sure that's why he missed that braking marker. But I think we can stay here with Jacques just so we can see this triple section. You can see how quick it is through here.
Yeah, I mean, he comes in there at 185 k's an hour, and he's getting to the braking zone at 160 k's an hour. So that is really fast. I think he also was a little bit late on the brakes. This is also a really difficult little section of track, and fast as well. You can carry a lot more speed there than you would believe.
And it's all about just making sure you don't hit too much of that inside curve to get that car bounced, or soften that suspension, and you're able to ride those curves, but then you're compromised through the faster stuff. So I love this track, and that's because it is just so technical. One driver who spends a lot of times on his setups is Ross, and I'm pretty sure that we're going to see Ross starting to get further up the field, because I'm just looking at his times, so he's going about half a second slower than Jakes is currently at the moment, but we know that Ross is able to bang those in time after time. So Warwick, to answer your question, is Craig racing at Connor's house? No, he's not. We do know that Craig is actually at Ashley's house.
SARCO is a proper community. We all go to each other's houses.
100%. And that's because we want as many people as possible racing. So if somebody does have a problem or some sort of challenge, we see how we're able to help. Many a times I've packed up my entire rig and headed off to Terry's house to go and do the stream from there. I've been to my brother-in-law, and that's because Terry didn't answer his phone. Nevertheless, there's Brandon. You can see that car just unsettled as he had turned it in, but doing a great job of recovering that car.
Oh, that was a beautiful donut. Well done, Brandon.
So we will put his name forward for the next Tokyo Drift gameplay demo drivers. We'll put Brandon DeSantis forward for that.
It's a pity because he was catching up to Sly Pete. He was sort of within a second there, and threw it away a bit. I think lack of seat time, lack of setup time. What you were saying though about this place is definitely somebody who puts in this time on setup and who understands the setups is going to benefit the most in this place. Absolutely.
So 25 minutes have gone. We're on lap number 10. And the man out in front, Connor Alexander, doing an absolute astounding job. Consistently in those 129s, and you can see the other guys battling to get into those 130. So Connor doing a sterling job. We will definitely keep on, and we can just see how well that car is managing that chicane. It is so nice and balanced, specifically for that right-hander. So he's able to get that power on nice and early, and he just carries that pace out there. So I think Connor has a setup of gold. You see just turning in a little bit of the rear kicking out, but very easy just to counter steer, catch the slide, and get that power on going in a straight line again.
No, he's doing a fantastic job. I think the other thing that I noticed through that tight twisty section is giving up a little bit on the brakes pays off on the exit. You know, go more conservative on the entry of the corner and feed the power in nicely coming out, and you actually pick up so much time by the time you get to the next corner, which is so important.
Well, 100%. You can see there Connor 130.0, so 0.1 of a second between that lap and the lap before. So he's really putting in those great consistent times. So we now have Jakes, who's going to be passing Johan and VDV.
Jakes is doing 129.4s, so he really is a man on a mission. Jakes is going to be one to watch for the rest of this race because he's done his pit stop and he's got the bit between his teeth.
And remember what I said in terms of that time that you need in the pits. It's about 43 seconds. Connor only has 40 seconds on Jake, so it is going to be crazy close when we start getting the guys out in front doing those pits. Robert and Ashley, I think, will be under a bit of pressure from Jake's. He will most certainly be ahead of him when they do the pits. Ross will be the next one in line, so it looks like that Connor will be able to get himself ahead of Ross through the pits, but then it's the likes of Robert and Ashley. That's where the next question comes in, is that will Ross be able to stay consistent enough to get himself ahead of those drivers?
It'll be interesting to see at what point in the race these guys all stop at. That also might play a role. And as we know, a pit stop can upset their rhythm a little bit. So, let's see how they play out there. Ash looks like he's reeling in Roberts a little bit.
Yeah, there's a second difference in the lap time there between Robert and Ashley. So Ashley is now going faster than Robert. Just see, Jakes again a 129.7. So Jakes is definitely the fastest driver on the track at this moment, and Connor another 130.0. So extremely consistent by the youngster.
Absolutely. That gap seems to be sort of stagnant around 40 seconds. So, it'll be very interesting to watch. I just want to have a look at Craig. He was right up there in quali, and with that first corner incident, Ross having another sideways moment there. These three having a bit of a ding-dong for 9th, 10th and 11th.
Ross is very deep, and that's going to allow Durkee to close up. But you can see Ross trying to get that power on, and that rear's kicking mid-corner. So I think Ross should just stiffen up some of that rear stabilizer. Sliding that car, that's not going to end well for Ross. just manages to keep it off the wall there, and he manages to stop the car rotating around. So that now allows Johan and Dirkie and Craig to move up, and now that's Ross down in 11th place. And
Connor
now we're starting to see those
pitted.
pits. Connor has now gone into the pits. And we want to see, where does Jakes come out? Mal Jacques, he too is in the pits now.
Yeah.
So now Connor making his way down the pit entry, and I think that was Jakes that has gone past. So that is Jakes who's now coming into turn number 1, and Connor is now behind Jakes. So an absolute a great strategy there for Jakes. He's now put himself into what we essentially can say the provisional first place, because Connor was leading. Now after the pits you can see 4 seconds there. So exactly what I was saying there, I said about 43 seconds. Sorry for getting that calculation wrong. It was 44 seconds was the time for the pits.
Yeah, it's I think that's more than either of us had even thought of. But I wonder if he can put some fuel in, or make that stop a bit longer than it had to be. But there you go, Jakes must be very pleased. It'll be good to watch the lap times now.
Because now Connor's going to need to start pushing, because he would have seen that Jakes would have gone ahead.
Robert's now pitting. I wonder where Robert will feed out. I don't think he's going to play a role in that lead battle somehow.
So Robert was sitting in second place there.
Yeah.
So depending on how much time he spends here, so that's about 3, 4, 5, 6. So that was just the 1 liter splash, and off he goes, and that is the quickest that you are able to stop.
Oh, Connor's back in. What's gone on here?
Unless
that can't be right.
Unless Connor was wanting to get some tyres done, they didn't put the tyres on, and now he's had to come back into the pits.
Oh wow. Good job we can't hear his microphone feed at the moment, because I don't think it would be very family friendly. He's off again.
So that has now put Connor all the way down in last place.
With quite a big deficit as well.
Well, Connor is now effectively 44 seconds behind anybody else, because he's now gone into the pits twice.
Yeah. And he's made a mistake as well. I think he's flustered with that.
Yeah, man. And such a disappointment to see Connor was leading the race. I did have Jakes overtaking him, and now through this triple he's going to be very slow. Those tyres are still going to be dirty. They're not going to be up to temperature anymore. And you can see he's really battling to keep control.
Oh, that's a heartbreaker. Absolute heartbreaker.
And that's Connor disconnecting.
He's retired. Yeah. Go back to our race leader Ash, but if you look at the lap times that Jakes is putting in, he really is the man to watch. He is much quicker than anybody else on circuit at the moment. Dylan, did Ashley pit on that first lap?
So I'm having a look, and I don't have Ashley having pitted, no.
Okay, so
I've still got Pete, Ashley, Brandon and Robert to go into the pits.
No, Robert pitted.
Thank you kindly. So now I have Brandon, Ashley and Pete to pit.
Definitely saw Robert pit, because he was leading and he dropped down, and that was due to the pit for sure.
Yes, I do remember that now.
So, yeah, looking at Pete, he's going to come down out sort of somewhere around Ross and Jacques, I would think, when he pits. So he's going to be way down the order when he does his pit stop.
Yeah, and also just adding, if we add 45 seconds onto Ashley's time, that's also going to put him down probably just again, right in the middle of Ross and Jacques. So there goes Johan. He's in the pits now.
So look at Johan. And Robert and Craig are about to have a bit of a battle as well.
So I'm actually very, very interested to know what had happened there with Connor, and I'm not sure whether Connor just turned it all off and decided to go and cry himself to sleep. But Connor, if you are going to tune in, please just let us know what happened there.
I think you might have hit the nail on the head there. He's not old enough to drink, is he?
No, he's not.
Okay.
What I'm thinking has happened, Ashley, Andrew, is that he went.
now.
Yeah, sorry. He went in, put on the tires, for some reason put on wets, because you can see that car was absolutely uncontrollable.
Yeah.
And came out on wets, and just not able to. You're just not able to drive that car.
No, could well be. We know that those pit stop strategies can be a bit tricky at times. Okay, so there's Ash pitted.
So Brandon's going to go past him. Dirkie is about a couple of seconds. See, so Dirkie will go past him. Craig's going to go past him. Robert's going to go past him.
Let's see. I think he's going to feed out between them. Yep.
Yeah. So that was quite impressive there by Ashley. So he's got himself into 5th place.
Yeah, no, that's a good job. I think he's going to be under some pressure, though. I don't think he's going to have it easy. But I see Jakes is reeling Pete in for the lead. There's a 2-second gap there. I'm going to jump to Jakes and see how we're getting on. Oh, he's all over Pete.
Let's also remember that Jakes has got that 10-second penalty. And that was for him speeding in the pits. But I'm sure Pete's going to start feeling the Mamba fever anytime. So Warwick's saying he's going to... That was extremely close.
That could have been tears.
Yeah. So Warwick is saying, cheers guys, he's off. Enjoy the rest of the race. Thanks to Josh. No, that is Josh. That is Blue Warwick, so we know that is Josh. Thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it.
To bring up the timings to see where we all are. So we've got a 10-second penalty for Jakes, which at the moment isn't going to play too much of a role. I think he's got enough of a gap over Brandon. But Brandon hasn't pitted. Exactly.
You can hear Jakes using the gears to help slow the car down, get it into the right position for the braking zone. And I must say that it's definitely one of my favorite parts of the track is that you go through that triple, you straighten the car down, you hit that little bump, and as you hit the bump you just lose the braking, and all of a sudden it comes into you. Because of that slight camber, you just feel that grip coming back. It is such an amazing feeling.
It's an awesome section of track and a real test. You know, you've got so much load and so much weight on one side of the car, and then you've got a very serious direction change straight afterwards. So yeah, it is. It's a hell of a section, a real test for anybody. You've got Dirkie pulling Brandon, or passing Brandon, not pulling Brandon.
And Ashley right behind him.
So Brandon's off.
No, I think what Brandon did is like, listen, this is an alpha tier battle happening here. I want nothing to do with this, because that's Dirkie, Ashley and Craig, and those three are now fighting for position. Yeah,
they are indeed.
So that is the battle for the 2nd and 3rd place on the podium. And there's a Ross in the background. And looking at the lap time, what is it going to be when he crosses the start finish? Ross 1:36, so he's made a mistake there. So he's not going to be fighting anybody anytime soon. It was this Roberts in the background there, completely outbraking himself, and just about got caught in the cul-de-sac there of tires.
Yeah, no, almost a 3.2, and he's made another mistake trying to get back on. I think that common mistake of stand on the throttle as hard as you can. We're trying to get back going again, and he spun it. Craig is catching Ashley for third. This could shape up to be an awesome battle, yeah.
And 10 minutes to go. We keep seeing this time and time again. We have an amazing first 10 minutes, then we have a little bit of time in the middle of the race where the guys are just waiting to see who's going to be pitting, what's going to be happening, and then we finish off with the final pit stops, and then everything just comes together for these crazy battles to the end.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Craig has played this beautifully, from that first corner incident. Did the right thing, pitted, sort of calmed himself down and put the lap times in, and look where he is now. He's up into fourth. I mean, that's a hell of a turnaround for him.
And I was going to say, time-wise, Ashley is going quicker, and Durkee, you can see Durkee matching the time of Jake's Ashley, but also 0.1 of a second off Durkee. So there's the view of second, third and fourth place, while Jake's out in front, starting to pull a 17-second gap over Durkee in second place.
I'm sure Jake is very well aware of his penalty and just wants to get far enough away that doesn't matter anymore.
And you can just see that little camber that's on that corner, and it makes such a difference in terms of the grip.
Absolutely.
Actually, it was very quick through that little section. You can see how he's just closed that a gap up into Durkee, now 0.6 of a second there. Oh, that looked like it was Craig bouncing in the background there. So Craig has had an off. It's that outside runoff coming through the chicane there. Man, oh man. And Craig is going to have Brandon starting to close down on him. And it looks like Ross made a mistake once again. Ross 138 for him.
I think he's struggling with that setup. There is no doubt that there's something wrong with the setup of that car, because look at that, it's all over the place.
You just see him getting that power on, and it looks like it's hitting a bit of oversteer, and then as he tries to correct it, it kind of like understeers, and then because that's happened, the rear steps out the other way.
Absolutely. See, Brandon has pitted. Wow, he's really going to fall down the order. I think he did a great... He's had an off and damaged it. So I wonder if he's coming in to fix it. Might be a long stop, that one. We'll keep an eye on that. I'm going to jump back to Ash, because he's caught up to Durkee.
Yeah, we saw Durkee and Ash having an almighty battle there at Brands Hatch, where Durkee was behind Ashley. Now these roles have changed, and now it's up to Durkee to defend for the next 7 minutes, where we had Ashley defending for just about 30 minutes of that race.
And did a fantastic job.
Great job there to defend for so long. And let's see if Durkee is able to do it. And you can just see the different attitude of these cars compared to what Ross is driving.
Yeah.
So much more control. That's Durkee going a little bit wide into the last corner, and Ashley is right up there to take advantage of that. But it did seem like Durkee was able to get that power down a little bit sooner, and Ashley wasn't pulled too much with the slipstream.
I wonder if Durkee doesn't have a little bit less downforce than Ash, and is just able to sort of stop him, pulling him in down the straight there.
Man, that's great throttle control there by Ashley. You could see that Durkee wasn't quite getting that power down, and he just came off the power, rode that little slide. Yeah, I think you're right, because you can see Durkee just sliding that car on the exit there, a little touch of the brakes.
But Ash, if Ash is running more downforce, he'll pull him in here. This is where Ash will. That's that trade-off you were talking about earlier of having, you know, the right balance for the slow stuff and the fast stuff.
Yeah, I can see Ashley definitely carrying a lot more speed through the chicane there, so it looks like it's just going to be a matter of time. But then we get onto the straight, and then there goes Durkee just pulling that gap. Ashley just showing that he's still here, having a look to the inside, but not close enough to have a dive there. So now he's going to...
Durkee knows he's there.
But I think Durkee knows that as long as he can just stay ahead through the twisty stuff when he gets onto the straight, is that Ashley's not going to be able to close that gap up on him. Well, great exit there. Great exit there by Ashley. But let's see if Durkee, you can just see how Durkee's just able to stay ahead of him. So definitely less downforce running there by Durkee. We'll actually have a look to the inside. Will you have a tighter line? So it looked like you just washed out a little bit being in the slipstream. And that must be another thing that we haven't quite taken into consideration, is that what is this following doing to the tires? Because now you're losing grip, they're heating up, and you're scrubbing them a lot more because you haven't translated that rubber contact into grip.
No, sure, absolutely. I think you know, when everybody sets it up, you're running in clear air, and Durkee's made a mistake.
Oh, Ashley, and that's, you can see how tricky that little section is. There wasn't really space for Ashley to try and go around the outside of him, so he just had to settle, hit the brakes. And Craig is actually 3 seconds behind this battle, so Craig is still not at this. If one of these guys do have a little bit of an off, Craig is there.
Absolutely, I think that's fantastic. I mean, that car must be horribly handling horribly, but it just goes to show, you know, the more people battle with each other, the more it slows them down. Jake's having a trouble-free run. Craig looking like that thing's been through a hedge.
But it looks like it was pulled back outwards as well.
Yeah, just to finish it off, you know. The battle to watch at the moment is definitely this one. These two are having great fun.
And it
can't help
Durkee losing a bit of the wheel. Will Ashley be able to get the drive on the outside? No, he doesn't. And we'll see Durkee will now go very defensive on the inside here. And I'm sure that because they've slowed them down, Craig... Oh no, Ashley, what are you doing?
You know, I think Ash had the right idea. He thought, if I can go around the outside here, I'm going to set myself up for the inside on the next corner. But it didn't quite work out that way. He's running out of time as well. I think he's got maybe 2 laps to do this.
We should have 2 more laps, yeah. Durkee just clipping that inside, coming out of the chicane. But this
I think the pressure's getting to him.
Yeah, I don't know. Look, many a times Durkee's been in this situation. He's been able to hang on there. And I think the person who's got it all to lose is Ashley, because like we've seen, it looks like Ashley could possibly be going faster than Durkee, but because he can't get past him, there's a lot of places where Ashley's had to come off the power and just allow Durkee to go through.
Yeah, it's that whole old adage, catching is one thing, passing is another. And you know, I think you've got 2 cars that have different setups, so they're stronger in different parts of the track, which makes the passing so difficult.
See, Ashley still keeps trying to threaten on that inside, hoping that Durkee will have a little bit of a washout. You'll touch that outside curb, and we've seen cars bounce off those curbs.
The curbs here are very unforgiving, so he is flirting with danger. And the last thing he wants with Ash so close is a penalty for track limits.
Yeah. You can see Durkee is a lot slower through the section than Ashley now. He should be banging this power on already to try and get this car rotated to hold that inside line and get himself side by side here for the chicane. That would have to force Durkee to give him that space. You can see Durkee very, very hesitant on that power. because that car just sliding as he went through the first phase of that chicane, and the car just kicking off to the right hand side.
It would have been good for Ash to be a bit closer because he could have tried to get on the brakes there. I wonder if he's going to try and line him up for that first corner again. Dirkie's got this one pinned this time.
You can see that little kick of the rear once again, because this is now going to be the last chance. And
he's got one lap to do this.
I just love how that car just backfires when they're going down the gears.
Absolutely. I wonder if Ash has said, right, I'll take the points for third.
No, I will fight. If I know that I could get the second place and it's so close, I'll definitely be fighting for it.
We've got Craig that was 0.7 of a second quicker than these two, the last lap by. Oh, Dirkie's made a mistake there again. He's really struggling through those fast ones.
Can you just jump to that outside view there for us, please? I just want to be able to see Craig see how far he is in that picture. There, we just saw that glimpse of Craig.
It's a very second-hand Craig.
But back to the battle, and then we see the race is complete, and that is Jakes who led after the pit stops, and he's come home in first place. And man, oh man, what a crazy drive here that we've seen in the last 10 minutes between not only Dirkie but Ashley as well. Ashley just not able to find a way around Dirkie, and Dirkie drove it absolutely to perfection. So a great result there for Dirkie, and Craig bringing that very second-hand Porsche home.
I think Ross has done a good job with a rather ill-handling car to get it to the end in fifth. I think that's fantastic. I don't think he'll be too happy, but looking at what a handful that was, I think he can be proud of himself there. I'm sure he'll be mighty relieved to get out of that.
Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. Oof, Ross.
Pete's next down the road. I think he's also struggled a little bit tonight. Maljacques, the best of the Bravo guys, and he's done a great job.
And there's Brandon right behind him.
I think having jumped into a GT3 at a minute's notice on a controller, Brandon can also be well pleased with that.
Yeah, most definitely.
There are our results.
So Jake's in first, then it is Dirkie, Ashley, Craig, Ross, Pete, Maljacques, Brandon Santos, and then Johan VDV.
That was a very interesting race and a really good race to watch.
So Ross has put up a message saying that was a horrible race for him. I can only imagine why, and we've seen why.
Yeah, no, it was plainly visible from the outside.
So thank you very much, guys. If we could just have Ashley, Dirkie, and Jakes in the Discord, please, and then Ross, we have some questions for you as well.
I'm sure Ash and Dirkie will have smiles on their face after a battle like that. That looked like so much fun.
Most definitely. Oh.
There's Jakes.
Sorry, Jakes.
How's it, Jakes? How's it, Ash?
Yes. Coconut acid,
Yo, Dirkie.
Alright,
Yo,
guys.
You two had a good fight there. Watch your times. Yes, you raced each other there.
Do yourself a favor, Jakes. Go and watch it back on YouTube. It was so awesome to watch.
It was crazy.
Yes, I couldn't get past. It was impossible.
All right, guys, that was absolutely fantastic to see. We were hoping to get Ross in here because it looked like he had an absolutely crack of a race. That car was all over the place, and we had some questions. But let's go to you, Ashley. In terms of the start of the race, a little incident there for you. A side-by-side going through the triple. We kind of knew it was inevitable, but it looked like Jake's got away with that, and you're the one that got stuck fighting the grass there.
I thought I was past, but obviously not, and then we touched. But sorry to Craig. I don't know what happened in the start there. I got caught out by Jake's ahead of me. So I slammed and braked, and then he slammed the brakes, and he fortunately spun off. But did flipping well to recover, but well done to Jakes and Dirkie. What an epic battle, man! That was fantastic. I really enjoyed it towards the end there.
So actually, I just wanted to check. Were you running quite a high downforce?
Definitely, as much as I could.
And then Dirkie, it looked like your downforce was a little bit less, because as soon as you got into the straights, you were able to pull away from him, but your traction out looked like you were just struggling just a little bit.
It definitely looked like he was.
Sounds like you are talking about downforce. I didn't have it. I don't know. I don't know. Ask Jakes. I drove these setup. I don't know what
So Jakes, did you have a high or low downforce setup there?
It was full downforce, buddy. Okay. Full downforce.
Right. So it was obviously just the way that the power was being translated on the way out, because the Dirkie down the straight, Ashley was definitely struggling to keep up with you. Yeah, but absolutely a fantastic race. And then for you, Jakes, decided to go into the pits nice and early, and that strategy paid off for you in the end there.
Yes, absolutely, Dylan. Unfortunately, me and Ashley had that coming together, and when I came back onto the road, I think I was about 8th or so, and the guys in front of me was holding me up, so I decided, no, let's go pit early, and when I come out, there's no traffic for me, and I could start making up some time. And then as soon as I entered the pits, I went into the pits too fast, and I got a 10-second penalty. So that was assault to injury.
Yeah.
And when I came out, I thought, okay, no, I must now catch up to Connor, and yes, I feel so bad for Connor because he was having such a good race. I looked the gap times between the two of us, and I couldn't make the time count for me. And if Connor didn't DC it, he would definitely have come first. So I had some luck on my side there, but good luck. Well done to Dirkie and Ashley there for that big fight that I've put up. I can't wait to watch this race again and see how those two battle each other. But well done, you guys.
No, 100%. And then, Dirkie, well done, man.
No, sorry, man.
No, it's all good. All good.
I didn't get anything that you were asking because I had issues with my connection now, so I couldn't reply on what you were asking. So I just want to ask, tell Jakes thanks for his setup because I didn't have one. I was in a room with him just before the race, and I was like way off the pace, and he sent me his setup. I don't know what it was. I don't know what the downforce was. You should ask him. And in the beginning, I had an incident because I thought everybody was starting, and then the whole group backed off again, and I hit Craig in the start.
It looked like a Magello start. That's what it looked like.
Yeah. And I had to jump into the pits immediately. I had a lot of damage. And coming out of the pits, I had to push so hard just to try and catch up. And by the time I got to my position where I should be, my tires were stuffed. So, yes, Ashley pushed me really hard there, and I didn't have any tires left because of that. I was pushing so hard to get to the front. But yes, it was a lucky one for me, I think, because I had no practice whatsoever. My wheel had problems. Tonight, I don't know. Everything looks fine, so I'm gonna talk.
Yeah, it looks like we've lost Dirkie there.
The best races.
I was just want to let him know that's first and the last time I'm going to give you my
I was about to say, I was wondering where Craig was going to come pop his head into the picture there.
No pun intended, Doc.
Yeah, that was a Freudian slip, guys. Coconuts. Right, guys, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you to the Bravo tier guys that were called in right at the end there to come and just fill the grid. We will have some of the real world races back next week, so we will have a little bit more of a competitive lobby once again. Don't forget, next week we head to the Bruno circuit, and we know that lots of downforce and lots of straight line speed is needed once again at this track, and really looking forward to it. So thanks once again to our sponsors, Thrustmaster, who support us, to the drivers that race this evening. Thank you. Ashley, you're still coming through on our sound, so just keep your voice down, please. And then to Ashley for joining me in the commentary box for the Bravo tier, and then Andrew, thank you so much for helping out on the Alpha tier. Also just dropping you in the coconut, so to say, letting you learn how to race direct on the fly. So thank you very much. So guys, without further ado, thank you very much. Keep practicing, and we'll see you next week. Thanks for watching.
Cheers, Dylan. Thanks a lot. Cheers,
Yos.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Oh, wait.
No, that was a shocker, chaps.
What's going on? Yeah. Greg, we can still hear you.